Today on Last Blocks, we're going to be working on the harvest quilt, and you're going to help me finish it up. Are you like me? I seem to get excited about new fabric lines and new cuts, and I find a new pattern and I get some fabric and then I cut it all out and I get started, and then something comes along or something new comes along, bright and shiny, right? And then we go after the next thing. Well, that's what this series is about. You are going to help me put my last blocks together, and we are going to build a beautiful quilt. So as I said before, today we are working on the Harvest Star quilt. This is a pattern. It is put out by Patchwork and Poodles. A beautiful pattern. I love stars. They're my favorite. And so, of course, when I saw this great collection of fabric, I had to find a fabulous pattern to go with it. And so this is what I started out. I have a good 20-something blocks at this point. And I actually went and looked at my Instagram page to see how long ago I started it. We're talking about July of 2020. So, at the filming of this, that is almost a year and a half from now. And every month and a half, I pull it back out and I'm like, I'm gonna do a block. So I do a block. I think sometimes I find that I just get, quilting from start to finish can get really tedious. And also, maybe I just get tired or I find something new. Right now I'm cutting the last few pieces of my very last block. And then you can help me put it together. So this block has a whole bunch of different things. So here we have flying geese, we have half square triangles, and then a whole bunch of just squares, and actually it goes this way, and a layout. And so the idea is we got to get in the right order to put it together. Finish this up, have it all laid out. Now it's time to sew it together. What I'm gonna do is take one row at a time, sew it together, press it with my iron, and then we're gonna sew each row together.
So I have put together 19 blocks, and I thought this might be where I would end. I had another one that I could put together, but I was missing just a few tiny pieces of fabric that would not match, and it was the turquoise color in the fabric line. And it kind of bugs me that it wouldn't match, so I was just gonna go with 19 blocks. I was gonna do a 3x5 quilt that would be a nice twin size, and then I was gonna take the extra 4, put them 4 together, and create a baby quilt. So then I would end up with 2 different quilts from the quilt blocks that I made. However, I decided to go back and find just a few little pieces that would match that fabric. When you look at it, you can't even tell. I will show you a picture of it here in a second. And I just decided that I needed to put together that last block. So now I'm going to put my whole quilt together. It is going to be 4 wide and 5 down, so it'll be a very large size twin quilt. Extra long, and it will cover a bed nicely. So now I'm going to put my quilt blocks together, nest those seams, take it to the long arm, and get that binding on. Here's this quilt block that I actually had to do a little substituting in. As you can see here and right here are the 2 pieces that I pulled in from another fabric, namely this one right over here. Now if you look at the quilt block and you didn't notice, and you look at it, you probably would not notice that it does have different pieces there in it. However, sometimes that would bug me and I wouldn't have used this block, but I actually don't mind because it's so close and so much like this other piece of fabric that it doesn't stick out and it doesn't draw attention to it, I guess is really what I'm trying to say, because it just blends in with the other colors. I changed locations real quick so that I could show you this full quilt all done. I got me a little stool so I can get a little taller. So here is the finished product. I love this quilt. I love the pattern. It definitely goes well together. I did 4 columns with 5 in each row. Okay, so 5 this way. It is a very large twin. I don't think it's quite a full size. And I almost need someone with longer arms to hold it up for me. But there is the finished quilt. I'm actually going to hold on to this one myself for a little bit. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I love the fabric and I love the pattern. Have I said that? I think I've said that like 8 million times. So I'm excited to have this all done, put together. I bound it in a green thatch back. I went into my local quilt shop when we were doing a clearance sale. I think this was actually on the Christmas, but it went so perfectly with the colors on the quilt that I got a good deal on it. So there's the back, and the binding is thatch. That's by Robin. Shoot, I can't think of her last name. Robin Pickens. So I like the thatched line. And it's all done. Curly cues in the quilting, and it's all done. Tell me what you think of it. What do you think of the pattern? Again, the pattern is by Patchwork and Poodles. And I will see you next week. Happy sewing.